Hey, what's up? It's your boy Young Dope Track, Joe Boy Sizzle, Dope Track King, all that goodness right there. Hey, check this out. I just wanted to get up with y'all real quick and talk to y'all about some quick little concepts that I came up with. You know, and just wanted to share them with you. So sit back and rock with your boy real quick. And basically, I want to talk about the two sides of the brain. And this is the way I see it. Okay, you got the thinking side of your brain, okay? The thinking side of your brain. And you got the doer side of your brain. Thinking side, doer side. Alright. And we're going to talk about what are the responsibilities of each side of the brain. Do you know any of them already? What you got? Okay. Good job. Nah, but for real though, on the thinking side, the way I see it is the responsibilities are coming up with key concepts, coming up with ideas, growth, empowerment, revelations, power, and also that thinking side of the brain, it enlightens you sometimes. You know how sometimes that light bulb just comes on. I hope that's happening to you, and I hope it's happening a lot. It happens to me a lot. That's the thinking side of the brain. And then let's move over here. We're gonna talk about the doer side of the brain. The doer side. Now the doer side is responsible for action. It's responsible for learning. It's responsible for experimenting or experimentation. It's responsible for challenging yourself. It's responsible for pushing yourself beyond your perceived limits. And it's responsible for reaching and exceeding your goals. That's the doer side of the brain. That's over here. So what we got? We got the thinking side, and we got the doer side. Okay? And it's probably more, but this is what I came up with. Something for me to talk about, to talk to you about, to try to get you going. You understand me? So, what happens when you think? That's a question. What happens when you think? Let me cut this dope track radio down real quick, just in case we ain't having a good enough conversation with that dope track radio in the background. What happens when you think? If you want to, you can shoot a message or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, leave it there. What happens when you think? I'm gonna tell you what happens when I think. Okay, when I think, the bad things that happen when I think, and that's what I probably should have said. What are the bad things that happen when you think, and what are the good things that happen when you think? So there you go. But some of the bad things that happen when I think are, I get scared, I get afraid, I get sad, and sometimes I can feel myself getting literally physically sick because I'm thinking about something. The things we think about that make us get scared, afraid, sick, all this stuff, the stuff we think about. I don't even think we gotta go into all that, but we all know some things that sometimes you're like, man, I'm down, you know what I'm saying? I'm so sad right now. But that happens when you think, but that's the bad. Let me ask you this. What happens good-wise when you think? It's kind of like the exact opposite, right? You think about something, you get happy. You get excited. You get overwhelmed. You get overjoyed. You feel peace. What else? You feel empowered. All those good things. And that's on the thinking side of the brain. Now let's move over here to the doer side of the brain. What happens bad on the doer side of the brain? And the doer side of the brain, that's the side of the brain that's gonna take action. Excuse me. That's the side of the brain that's gonna take action. But what are the bad things that happen when you on the doer side of the brain when you take action? That's a question. Okay. The bad things that happen with me are I get nervous. That's the doer side. I'm out. I'm doing something. I'm trying to achieve something. You know. But this is happening to me on the doer side of my brain. The effects. I get nervous. My palms start to sweat. You know. And sometimes, you know, I outright just fail. You know, I go try to do something. Total failure. You know. But that happens though. It's a part of life. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we all got to go through. You know what I'm saying? But what are the good things that happen on the doer side of the brain? That side of the brain that take action. What are some of the good things that happen, you know, when you take action? You know about now, that's the question. Alright. The good things that happen to me when I take action, the doer side of my brain. Ooh, I succeed. I went out and did something, and guess what? It worked. You understand me? I got the job done. You know, I learned something. I grew a little bit. All because I took action. Because I did something. That doer side of the brain. Okay, and it's like these things have to be these two key concepts I'm coming with you today with the thinker side of the brain and the doer side of the brain. It has to make perfect sense because think about it. If you have a person that doesn't have a sound mind, somebody that got something going on right there, you know, they can't think right. You understand me? And in order to do things, it would seem like you have to be able to think. You know, you have to formulate, you know, concepts, ideas, you know, and things like this to even be able to go do things, you know. So that just clearly says a person that their thinking side doesn't work. It's impossible. It's impossible for them to succeed. You understand me? Because it would seem like no matter if you're not a big thinker, you're just a doer. You understand? You're gonna succeed. But even though you are a doer, you have to think, you know? Because how else can you do? It's just there. If you don't have a sound mind, if your marbles ain't right, how could you succeed? You know, and just in closing, it's like both. It's like it seems like it's a general law that you have to do both of these things to get rich. You have to first think, and then next you have to take action. Real quick, that kind of took a little while, but you know, I felt like talking, man. Hopefully, you know, that was something for you, you know, to digest today. You know, quick dope track thoughts, man. You know, concepts and ideas, you know. Hey, man. Appreciate it, man. Holla at your boy, man. Young Dope Track, I'm out.